Bitcoin has seen an explosive move to the upside, actually hitting that 42,000 US dollar level everyone's been anticipating. So let's take a look at what happened, a few things to watch for moving forward, and so on. To start off, we're going to take a look at the 4-hour chart here. Now, I was pointing out in my last stream that we had this potential ascending triangle. We got that beautiful breakout to the upside. If we take a measured move from the size of this ascending triangle, from where we broke out from, you can see that we pretty much got a perfect measured move here. So that is something to be a little bit cautious of, you guys. The measured move of this pattern has already played out. One thing that I do like to see is another pattern that I was talking about was this broadening wedge here. And I mean, the nice thing about this is that we actually got some closes above the resistance of this wedge. And I just got this from pulling this resistance from this point to this point, just connecting those two. You can see that we did actually struggle with that level very briefly. You can see that we just got a wick above that level, but then we actually started closing candle bodies above that level. So that is great to see, in my opinion. Something we're going to have to watch for, however, is if this is just a little bit of a fake out, and we end up coming back in here, watch for this resistance line to flip back into resistance, in which case I think it would make a lot of sense that we would see a little bit of a correction, maybe even test kind of back the old resistance of this pattern, flipping into support, something like that. Or, you know, maybe we have something like this, just extending this support line, something like so. You know, maybe we end up pulling back, flip that into resistance once again, and then start trailing down until we maybe come in contact with this support or something like that. That would be a level of interest if we do end up pulling back to that line. I'm probably going to end up setting an alert on this trend line just in case we come back. If we get some sort of a tap with a failed break or something like that, I think it would be an excellent long entry once again. But as it stands right now, Bitcoin's looking quite healthy. And I mean, when I flip over to my weekly chart here, another thing that I was talking about in my previous stream, I believe we were just kind of somewhere right in here. And I was talking about the fact that, you know, in a strong downtrend, the 382 Fibonacci would be a very important level that the bulls would want to get above. And the fact that we were just consolidating right on top of that resistance, flipping it into support and just basically tapping away at it here. This is a weekly chart, so basically for a month we were just tapping away at this level. So the fact that we were testing it from on top as support rather than just getting stuck below it here, tapping away and getting rejected, I was saying that I really didn't see a reason why we would break above that important Fibonacci level for a strong downtrend, just to get shut down on a little fake out like that. I was saying that I strongly believe we're still on our way to that 618. I've been very vocal about that for a long time. Yeah, absolutely, it's possible we see some turbulence now that we're checking, just testing this this 0.5 Fibonacci level. But I really do think at the end of the day, I shouldn't say that, not the end of today, literally, but the end of this rally, I really am expecting to see a little bit higher price targets. The thing about that, guys, is basically from where we're at, anywhere from that 42,000 all the way up to 50,000, I mean, it's all kind of fair game to see some sort of a harsh rejection. So tread carefully. This is not something that I'm willing to just blindly short right now. I definitely would want to see something on shorter time frames, some sort of a break in structure, maybe my indicators giving me some signals, something like that. As it stands right now, I'm not really interested in shorting just because I think momentum is on the bulls side. I mean, obviously it is. The fact that we broke back above this old support level, flipped it into resistance for a little bit, and then broke back above, I think the market's in a very healthy place. I mean, even if we do end up seeing some sort of a harsh rejection, I think that we need to really watch this blue support box. Anywhere from basically 28 to 32,000, I think would be a reasonable level to end up finding support after this bullish rally does eventually top out, lose steam, and sees its pullback. I really do think this is going to be an important level for the market. Just kind of going back, looking at other market cycles, you can see that the same kind of thing, the support in phase one of the bear market, once we get back above that level, flipping it into support, That's just where the market seems to be in an absolute beautiful position. Same with even this last market cycle. We did dip below it very briefly. This was during the COVID shutdown, so that was definitely a black swan event, so something to take into consideration there. I'm not so sure we would have actually dropped below that box. Obviously, anything is possible. Maybe we were just testing some other Fibonacci's, that 886 from our bear market bottom to where we topped out on that rally, testing that 786, 886 pocket. Maybe that was just natural market movement, but I really would have expected this support box to end up holding had it not been for COVID. So as it stands right now, I think the market's in a beautiful place. Our higher low as far as the macro time frame goes on the weekly here, I mean, we still have, technically our higher low is more somewhere in there, just because obviously we had this high here and now we ended up breaking it, so we don't even have our new higher high set yet, but we do, obviously we carried on higher, thus making this our new higher low, our confirmed higher low. So no matter what happens with Bitcoin, as far as this market cycle goes, I think we're in a beautiful position. Bitcoin has built a lot of support along the way. You know, if we end up seeing a harsh rejection, at least we have had some of these consolidation levels just forming a little bit of support. So Bitcoin, I mean, anything can happen, but I wouldn't really expect it to just cut through all this like a hot knife through butter. I would expect to find some sort of support in these heavy consolidation levels. So that's great to see there. Another thing that was going for the price here, you guys know that when I'm trading, one thing I love to bring up with my indicators is I love talking about which way these W's, these are reversal warnings, which way they're trending. So yeah, even though there's a whole bunch of reversal warnings from a bearish perspective here, what I always talk about in my streams and on my shorter analysis videos is when I'm looking for trade setups, I love to watch for which way these W's are trending. And I mean, for such a long time, you can see that we just had this high, higher high, higher high, higher, higher. This one's slightly lower, but again, the W's just keep trending to the upside. Same with on the bottom side, we have this low, we have a higher low, and we have a higher low. So as we have these W's on the top side trending to the upside, anytime that we start seeing higher lows come into play, just look at how beautiful those entries are. And that's one reason why I find this strategy to be such a helpful way of looking at these indicators. Those of you who have sat in on my streams and see me watching those sorts of things know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, one of my favorite things when I'm looking for trade setups, when I'm looking for scalps, just wondering what direction I should be trading this market, that is a huge bit of confluence that I use personally. Obviously anything can happen and it's not going to work out every time, but usually if I end up losing trades, losing scalps, whatever time frame I'm playing, it's usually when I'm losing, it's because I decide to ignore my own strategy of which way the W's are trending. So generally speaking, I try and trade the direction that they are trending, and that means that I want the tops and the bottoms to be lining up the same direction basically. And here's just a perfect example on the 4 hour. You know, as they were trending to the upside, every time we set a higher low, just a absolutely phenomenal entry. So yeah, one of my favorite strategies there. I don't really have a heck of a lot else to say aside from obviously we love to see the market doing what it's doing. I know a lot of people have been desperate to short a reversal. Everyone always thinks that, you know, when a market starts trending like this, it just feels like it can't keep going on. But you got to consider the fact that if this weekly chart right here, just ignore all these numbers on the right hand side, just pretend this is a 5-minute chart or an hourly chart, basically anything other than a weekly chart, nobody would think it's overextended. To have a pullback up towards these Fibonacci's, any of these Fibonacci levels would be totally natural on any other time frame, but the fact that it's on a weekly, everybody thinks it's overextended. So sometimes it just pays literally to zoom out, and that's yeah, basically I just see potential for more upside. Obviously, like I said, we got to be careful because anywhere from 42 up to towards 50, I mean, it's all fair game in my opinion. I really do think we end up testing up some of these higher structure levels as well as that 618 fib, but like I said, anything is possible. For those of you lucky enough to be in the MDX Algo VIP, I know a lot of people are saying that, everyone on the market is too bullish and there's no way that we're going to carry on higher. I keep seeing people say that, but when you actually look at the short to long ratio, even right now, after this massive pump, people are still, specifically retail, very desperate to catch a short of the reversal. So retail is still short heavy, and this is basically just providing more rocket fuel for the bulls. And another reason why I think the price can continue to climb higher. I think until we see these numbers starting to flip, where retail starts, finally FOMOing in and trying to long because they give up. They say, oh, there's no reversal in sight. We're just going to keep going up forever. And people start longing heavier. I think that's where we see recipe for a much stronger pullback. So that's something to be a little bit cautious of there, you guys. I know for those of you who have been in the MDX Algo VIP, you guys know that there was a lot of us in there who were giving our bullish theses on the market. Just here's an example of mine yesterday. I was talking about this little bit of a wedge. I can actually point it out. That would be this wedge down here. I was talking about potentially finding a breakout on this pattern. Then you can see that we got this measured move. I ended up closing most of my position, but left a little bit open just in case 42K was in the cards. And then boom, look at that, up to 42K. And we're still right around that 42K. I mean, yes, we are technically a little bit below it, but the fact is that we haven't really seen a very strong rejection considering how many people were watching that level. It wasn't just an immediate reaction. We are still flirting with that level, so it just seems like there is still a little bit of steam left for the bulls. Maybe this is a little bit of a deviation here, and we do end up dropping my support level here and testing a little bit lower. If we are to end up dropping this green line here, this is just kind of going back towards my previous range, up a diagonal support line here. Just looking at this trend right now, here we have our high, we have a higher high. Our lowest point between the two is down here, outlined by my green box here. So just looking for potential pullback targets if we are going to pull back. I would start eyeing up some Fibonacci levels, just pulling from our higher low up to where our higher high is. And that's 786, 886. You guys know I love this Fibonacci pocket. We even got a little bit of structure back here. But I would also be interested in watching this level. Now, when I'm setting trades, I typically don't just set blind limit orders. What I would love to see here is, if we can get some of my indicators, get the W's start trending back to the upside, see some kind of a bullish divergence in these levels, that sort of thing. Maybe we come back down into this 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket and start seeing some of those reversal warnings in this box. That would be another tempting scalp long, in my opinion. That'll be something that I'm watching for moving forwards. But yeah, the market's in a very interesting place. Obviously, if we end up losing this structure here, then, maybe we have to entertain the idea of a much more serious correction. But like I said, I think Bitcoin is in a good position, even if that happens, that it just seems like we've built so much structure on the way up that I really do think that we're in a good position overall. So yeah, like I said, if we end up losing this 4-hour resistance level, I think there's a good chance watch for it to flip back into resistance, see some kind of bearish divergences. These W's start trending. Let's say we set a lower high, anything like that. Then yeah, maybe we're going to see some sort of a bigger correction. But as it stands right now, like I said, guys, I'm not interested in just blindly shorting like retail seems so desperate to do. That's not my jam. I would much rather see us take a very harsh correction to the downside and then some sort of a bounce. And then, that's where I'll start looking more for Fibonacci's. If we can get some kind of correction to the downside, have a little bit of a bounce, come back up, maybe start targeting this Fibonacci pocket that I love so much, getting that kind of a setup. Sorry, let me just bring that up again. Let's just say something like this. We end up going to the downside, get some kind of a pullback to the upside, and then that's where I really like to look for a lower high reversal warning type of a setup. especially if we also have, let's say, a low W and then a lower low W, and then we get that lower high W, specifically near those Fibonacci pockets, near some EMA trends. You guys know that's another thing that I love with my indicators, is looking for all of these trends. If we start getting some bearish crosses on these, lower high W along the EMAs, stuff like that, maybe I would consider a bit of a scalp short. But as it stands right now, I'm just not overly interested. I'm totally okay missing a move to the downside. I just don't have FOMO for a short right now. And this is just a bit of a train that I do not wish to stand in front of. So anyways, my friends, if you did appreciate this video, I think that's all I have to say today. If you did appreciate this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you do want access to my favorite indicators, the VIP Discord, as well as a couple no KYC crypto exchanges, I've got some referral links down below for some special bonuses, discounts, and so on. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.